Coming up, Wales gears up. Just hours until Wales goes back into a short, sharp firebreak lockdown.
The lunchtime news with Lucrezia Millarini.
Good afternoon. A 17-day firebreak lockdown aimed at slowing the rise of COVID cases in Wales will begin in just over 4 hours' time. People are being told to stay at home if they can. Pubs, restaurants and non-essential shops are to shut at 6. And supermarkets are not allowed to sell what are being called non-essential items, including hairdryers or microwaves. Our political correspondent Libby Vina reports. Well, we just saw him there in Libby's report. We can hear more now from the First Minister.
Thank you.
Well, Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has announced a 5-tier system for dealing with the virus. 0 is described as the baseline and 4 will be the highest tier with the strictest lockdown measures imposed. Or ITV correspondent Warrington will move to England's highest tier of coronavirus restrictions from next week. Its council has confirmed under a huge public outpouring of kindness has erupted after MPs voted overwhelmingly against free school meals during the half-term school break. Footballer Marcus Rashford, who was campaigning for children living in poverty, has today tweeted dozens upon dozens of offers from cafes, restaurants and pubs who say they will be feeding children in need for free. Well, Martha Fairley is...
Provide free school meals over half-term.
Now to the US, and President Trump and his opponent Joe Biden have clashed in their last debate before the election. And after the ugliness of their first ill-tempered encounter, the final face-off was tamer, as our Washington correspondent Robert Moore reports from Nashville. And finally, his hits have been streamed online millions of times over. As a solo star and member of the group One Direction, he's sold out countless gigs too. You work with a lot of the same people. They kind of become your family, don't they? Especially when you're setting an amazing venue and one of so many venues that just we haven't been able to use, have we, for the last... What has it been like for you? What was lockdown like for you? And where were you for most of it? A lovely guy, Niall Horan, speaking to me a little earlier on. A reminder of our main stories this lunch. All right, that is it from us for now. I'll be back here with the ITV Evening News at 6:30. The news where you are follows the national weather. But for now, for everyone on the lunchtime team, bye-bye. Again. Now, the main stories in London. Slough is the next area to move into Tier 2 restrictions after the Health Secretary Matt Hancock said cases in the area climbed considerably in the last week. 2 more people have been charged with the murder of Loic Gué in Mitcham, 27. On the first anniversary of the tragedy, a memorial is taking place today to remember the 39 Vietnamese people who died in the back of a container lorry travelling from Belgium to Essex. The Mayor, Sadiq Khan, says forecasts by Visit London suggest tourist spending in the capital could fall by £10 billion this year. Analysis on the Apollo Theatre opened its doors last night for the first time since the pandemic with a free performance of Adam Kay's This Is Going to Hurt, especially for the NHS. The former... All right, weather now, here's Manali. And that's it for now. Duncan is here at 6. Until then, enjoy your afternoon. Bye-bye. Millions more are placed under tougher COVID restrictions.
The Evening News with Lucrezia Millarini.
Good evening. Wales has tonight started a 17-day lockdown as millions of people across the UK face tougher coronavirus restrictions. The measures mean people in Wales must stay at home and all non-essential businesses are now closed, including pubs and restaurants. First Minister Mark Drakeford said the sharp shock was needed to bring infections under control. In England, more areas are expected to enter the strictest Tier 3 restrictions within days. Scotland has announced its own lockdown system and Northern Ireland went under fresh measures last week. Well, the latest figures for the whole of the UK show new infections remain above 20,000 and there have been 224 further deaths. More on that in a moment, but first here's our correspondent Dan Rivers with the latest from Wales. Well, Scotland's First Minister has unveiled the country's own new lockdown system, which uses 5 levels, not the 3 used in England. Nicola Sturgeon said the rules were aimed at striking the best balance. Well, the 5 new restriction levels start at 0 and run to... Our Scotland correspondent Peter... Well, council leaders have revealed that Warrington will soon come under England's Tier 3 restrictions. It means in Nottingham, University Hospitals Trust cancelled some non-urgent operations because of a sharp rise in the number of COVID patients. Our correspondent Ben Chapman is outside the... Pressure is growing on the government tonight for a U-turn on its refusal to pay for free meals for children in England during half-term. A campaign led by Manchester United star Marcus Rashford has seen an outpouring of support from local cafes, pubs and restaurants, as well as fast food chains and councils. The England footballer said he was blown away by the help, but so far Downing Street hasn't budged and insists the country is in a different position from when it extended the free meal scheme in the summer. Damon Green has more. So to come on the ITV Evening News, those stories and more after the break. Welcome back. President Trump and his challenger Joe Biden have gone head-to-head in their last TV debate before the US election. After their last chaotic encounter, this time was much more controlled, but they still clashed over racism, climate and coronavirus. Well, here's our Washington correspondent Robert Moore on the final showdown. Here, the fashion retailer Gap has announced it could close all its UK stores by next summer. During Black History Month, we've been highlighting the inspiring efforts of Black Britons to make a difference. Tonight, we hear from Naomi Kelman, who was shocked by the lack of diversity when she started her studies at Oxford University. So she created a successful programme called Target Oxbridge, which helps African and Caribbean students gain places there. Rangers manager Steven Gerrard has scored some great goals in his time for Liverpool and England, but even he was stunned by Kemar Roof's solo goal for his side last night. And finally tonight, the grandparents in step with a whole new generation. When Joan O'Shaughnessy was furloughed earlier this year, she put videos of her dancing with her husband on social media. It helped relieve her boredom, but it also proved to be an unexpected hit. Now she's planning to spread her positivity to an even wider audience, as Geraint Vincent reports. Dancing into the weekend. That is all for now. Raggy will be here with news at 10, but from me and all the team here, have a great evening. Bye-bye.